so let's look at the division function and let's modify it so that we're going to use exception handling to control the flow of this program and prevent a division by 0 and provide an appropriate message in case, let's say in this particular case, the denominator was actually 0, right? So if you're trying to divide the numerator by 0, you're going to get an appropriate message. So let me remassage this. So I'm going to take this if statement completely out. So these two, definitely you're going to need them, but we're going to try them. So we're going to do try, and I'm going to tab these so now they're part of the try block. And then we're going to try to divide num1 divided by num2, right? So we're going to put result equals num1 divided by num2. So go ahead and do the operation and store it in result. So what if indeed num2 was a 0? Now let's suppose we didn't do a try, just for purposes of seeing what would happen if we didn't do that. And we just simply wanted to print the result here. And just so you can see what happens if you don't put it in that block and you just leave it raw, just simple code, you assume the user will know not to enter a 0, right? So let's say they pick 4 as their operation, and the numerator is 2, and they're going to divide by 3. That's not a problem. They're going to pick 4 again. Let's say the numerator was 8, and the denominator was 0. Now watch what happens to the program. It crashes, right? We don't want this because this will not allow you to go back to the menu. Your program basically terminated at this stage and sent you to the console of code telling you that the process has finished. It's over, right? And if you want to trace what the issue is, you could see here it's telling you within a certain line something bad happened. And it takes you starting at line 76. If we go to line 76, by the way, that's when we call that function. Okay, and that means we called main initially. Then we called 68, which is called the division, right? So it's giving you the stack in the order in which you called your functions. So we know 76 is your first main function call. Fine. And then within that module, you called 68, which is division. And then within that, you go to line 28. It's telling you exactly where the issue is. You have a division by 0, and it tells you here 0 division error, float division by 0. So being able to decipher what the error message is very helpful in case you're stuck in a project and you're getting errors. Please read them and try to decipher what the issue is exactly, trace it, and figure out what to do. Well, in our case, we're going to do this. We're going to put this in a try block. So we're going to do try, and I am going to push these 3 here, and I will handle the result later. Let me just cut it. Right, we're going to need that. We're going to create now the exception. Except, here you go. So if something goes wrong, go ahead and print error division by 0 attempted. So it caught it, right? So great. Now, what else can you do with the try and except? Well, what if it wasn't, num2 was not 0? What do? Well, you have another, you can expand the try and except into an else, which means everything was fine. Go ahead and let me now paste the result. Okay? So take notes on how to properly use this. Now, there are ways to use except with specific messages, right? Or to be specific to a division by 0. That's another lesson. Right now, in its general format, this is how it would work. Now, let's go ahead and try it. So let's go ahead and run this. And let's go ahead and pick division. And I'm going to pick 45, and I'm going to divide it by 3. So as you can see here, there were no issues. That's because I didn't divide by 0. It definitely executed the else part of the exception. So what happens now if we try to divide by 0? So let's go ahead and pick 4 again. And let's go ahead and put 88 divided by 0. And there you have it. The program does not crash, right? It got caught, even though we had result equal num1 divided by num2. So this should not stop you from putting whatever formula you need and knowing full well that sometimes some error might happen, then using the except to handle it right there. You're trying the try block. If something is wrong, which means something went bad, the except part will execute. And sure enough, the print statement within the except part executed because it caught an error that would have crashed your program. Okay, so we're good. All right, so we're going to add one more feature to the calculator to wrap this simple calculator for the next lesson. And we'll take it from there. See you then.